this race?
He's not.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay.
No, of course not. Hi, David. My track description, your drive around the track, go to commercial, and then here we go with the Formula Vee race, coming from commercial.
You'll see them down through here. They'll come down that hill in a string, one behind the other.
So they've seen my track description.
Shoot out past each other.
His machine. Ron Laney is another one that they picked. And of course, Laney is right on the pole with a 142.1. He had a strong showing in the tough Northeastern Division.
Okay.
And only twice was he out of the top 3 in 10 1980 starts. And he's got his chassis set up right for Atlanta, and he certainly does. He's on the pole with a 142.1. Another pre-race favorite, picked by Sports Car Magazine, John Hockel in the Lynx. He's a perennial national front-runner. He started this year slowly, but then jumped in at the last minute and is looking really strong. And he is 6th on the grid with a 142.6, only 0.5 of a second off your pole position. The base lap has started. Some of the best racing you'll see is about to get underway.
The engines have fired and the cars begin to move out from the starting grid for the Formula Vee feature event that will decide the national championship in this class.
With your top 7 cars within 7/10 of a second.
Pennsylvania is the pole sitter. He's a builder and brings 2 wins in 4 seconds in 1980 to Road Atlanta. 32 years old, he won the pole by a scant 16/100ths of a second. Don Pepperdine, car number 13 from Monterey, California, will start on the outside pole. In third, Bill Noble of Manhattan, Kansas, car number 00. In fourth, the 79 of Ford Smith from Roselle Park, New Jersey. Fifth starter is Bill Pryor out of Carmel Valley, California, car number 19. Sixth starter, car number 5 from Ham Lake, Minnesota, John Hogdall. In seventh is 35 John Vanderkar of Amherst, New Hampshire. The 8th starter, Scott Rabinzer from Brookfield, Wisconsin. Ninth on the grid, K.P. Jones, starting inside the 5th row from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And 10th, the 1978 national champion, Don Courtney, racing out of Hialeah, Florida. As the field heads up through the S's on the pace lap, way back in 24th position is the defending national champion in Formula Vee, Wayne Moore. Wayne, what are you doing so far back in the field?
Well, we had some qualifying trouble, and that we only had 1 lap of qualifying, therefore we didn't really have a chance to qualify, and that's where we're at.
Well, what's going to happen when the green flag drops? What's your game plan?
Well, I'm going to line them up on the back straightaway and the front straightaway and pick them off about 3 a lap, and that'll take me about 8 laps to catch the leaders, and then they better look out.
David Hobbs, in a class as competitive as Formula Vee, it's awfully tough to climb through traffic from 24th spot.
It's going to be extremely difficult for him, and unless his car is overwhelmingly quicker than the other guys on the straight, he's not going to be able to pick any of these guys off. No one in this class wants to be picked off. There's 22 cars in here covered by less than 2 seconds.
Small single-seat open-wheel machines. They're based on Volkswagen Beetle engine and steering components with handmade or custom-made frames. Just to call these angry overshoes. There is Wayne Moore back in 24th starting position. A long way to go from the 12th row.
There you see these guys warming up the tyres. They all swerve around on the pace lap. This is trying to get some temperature into those tyres. Now, as you can see, these Formula Vees only have very small tyres, so obviously they warm up quicker than the great big tyres that we see on Can-Am cars. But even so, they want those tyres hot when they take the flag on the first lap.
Don Pepperdine, Northern Pacific champion, is on the outside pole. He has not raced here this year, though. This is his 4th trip to Road Atlanta. In fact, these drivers coming from all over the country, many of whom have not competed head-to-head against each other all season long. It's their first opportunity, and here it is for the National Driving Championship in this class.
Well, of course, these National Driving Championship races down here at Road Atlanta are real knockdown, drag-out affairs. Some of these guys may have won 6 or 7 races in their region, but if they don't win this one, none of those points matter. The only thing those points are good for is to get them here in the first place. There's someone smoking right there.
An ominous sight, especially in an air-cooled machine like a Volkswagen engine car.
Yeah, it's using a lot of oil. And there's the pace car pulling off. cars coming down that last hill towards the start.
Cars moving to turn number 12, down to the bottom of the hill, the crucial turn of Road Atlanta. One car comes up ahead of the field. Starter looks them over as 00. Bill Noble is way out ahead of the field. And Starter shaking his head no. It will be no start.
Now he must have felt, he was so blatant about that, he knew there would be no start. I think he must want another pace lap for some other reason, either to warm his car up more, perhaps he feels it's cool day. It is pretty cool that day. He needs a bit more time to warm his car up.
So they will take yet another pace lap. Field falling back into line here, doubling up 2 by 2. All the way back through the field that includes a scheduled 35 starters, all looking for one brass ring.
Because when you have 35 cars out there, these pace laps themselves can be pretty hairy, because as you can see, everybody's dashing around warming up their tyres, and there's been more than one occasion where one or more car has been sidelined on this very pace lap.
There is still one car well out ahead of the field as they come up through the S's and begin the run uphill. The starter did not put the green flag on this Formula Vee field. Now they're beginning to bunch once again.
Another interesting thing here, you see the yellow flag in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen there. Every station, every marshal station out there on this pace lap will be holding out the yellow flag so that they know there is no racing. Of course, the field is marshaled by many SCCA workers all doing this practice.
Still awaiting the start of this Formula Vee event. Maybe the Formula Vee only has perhaps 75, 80, towards 100 horsepower. Is it more difficult to drive a lesser powered car? Sorry about that. We'll pick it up on your next camera cut. A car like these Formula V's has only 50 or 60 horsepower. Is it more difficult to get a maximum speed potential out of an underpowered car than a car with gobs of horsepower?
Well, it's in some ways it is, in some ways it isn't. You'll find that the racing is much closer with the lower horsepower cars because, quite frankly, more people can handle that horsepower. On the other hand, everybody tries harder to extract the maximum out of their car. So you probably see more risks taken with this type of car. People really go in for the big do-or-die effort. They've got a slipstream or draft, as you'd say in the Southeast, and very closely all the time. They have to be right on top of each other because a slip gear change, a missed gear change, you drop back 20 feet, 30 feet. It's very difficult to make it up again because you have no extra power to do it with.
I think the same would be true if you missed your apex on the corner, if you missed your line, that it would rob incredible speed that would take so long to build up that it would be a factor.
If you miss a line, you get baulked by a back mark if you're lapping them, or if anybody makes a mistake in front of you and makes you lift out of the gas, and the guy gains that extra 50 or 60 yards, it's a devil of a job to get it back.
Coming up again, and you see the SCCA corner workers stationed at strategic positions all the way around this 2.5-mile, 10-turn road course, holding up stationary yellow flag, which is a slowdown, and now the front row starters appear to be in place. There is Don Pepperdine, car number 13, the blue car to the right of your screen, and on your left, that should be Ron Feeney, the pole sitter of Douglasville, Pennsylvania. The difference in qualifying between these two cars, 16/100ths of a second. Field is in line as they approach turn number 12, coming down to take the green for the first of 18 laps. Green is on, and leading the charge to turn 1 is Ron Feeney. It'll be 3 wide heading for the first turn. Cut to the outside is Pepperdine. Into turn 1 and cutting across the line. That is Bill Noble out of Manhattan, Kansas, the car that caused the false start, but he has the lead heading up into the S's.
Bill Noble moved from extreme right to extreme left and back to extreme right again and made sure that no one got by him. He's holding a good lead there.
Bill Noble bought turn number 1 and it gave him the lead. This is Noble coming up through the S's, leading Ron Feeney, the pole sitter. Pepperdine rides in the 3rd position as they climb the hill. A little bit of tire smoke there, perhaps a bit of dust on the track. Heading for the hook at the far south end of the speedway. You can see just how close the competition is on these Volkswagen-based machines. They are strung out single file, but close, David. The draft really has an effect even on cars at this speed.
Oh, it has a tremendous draft effect, and of course the ones at the back get more of a draft help than these guys up near the front, like 4th and 5th are getting sucked along not as quick as the guys who are lying 9th and 10th. So sometimes on these first laps, when they're very bunched up like this, you can find yourself going a lot faster.
These cars have 1200cc Volkswagen air-cooled engines, a Volkswagen bug-type engine, right behind the driver's head. Bill Noble is leader, moving out the pass. Don Pepperdine The outside pole sitter from Monterey, California, wanting a look at second place, Ron Feeney. Feeney started on the pole and then 3 wide. 3 wide and a bit of dust kicked up there as Pepperdine just flat ran out of racing room.
He certainly did. Bill Noble made sure he ran out of room. But there he is going under the bridge side by side.
Coming down, using up a bit of the pit road as Noble takes a wide sweep down to the start finish line. There's Noble the leader. Pepperdine in second. Feeney is third. Fourth place car is Bill Pryor, number 19. He started back in the 5th position, and look at the bonsai charge to turn 1 again. Noble uses up all the possible racetrack right out to the grass to get the line from turn 1 and up the hill. Pepperdine does a good job staying with him, as is Ron Feeney. The rest of the field has already begun to strung out significantly.
Well, I think you'll find that Ron Feeney, lying there in 3rd spot, has run off the pace slightly, and he is holding them up slightly.
Feeney has gone back to 4th position as Bill Pryor in car number 19 has moved to 3rd. But the battle is for the lead. And up front, Noble driving out of Manhattan, Kansas by grade. He builds engines for these Formula Vee cars, so this is a full-time profession for him, unlike many of the 600 drivers competing here this weekend. And he is really getting the pressure from Don Pepperdine, car number 13 out of Monterey, California, 34 years old, an office manager. In his professional life, he brings 3 victories to Road Atlanta. He's been here 3 times. He's finished no higher than 6th in the chase for the national championship, but he is keeping close tabs on Bill Noble to come out of 5,000-foot stretch.
He drafts past him, in fact, going down that stretch. He's now alongside him. In fact, he's pulled slightly ahead as they sweep down that long curve, leading down into the dreaded dip. Look at those other guys, 3 abreast. The one on the outside there getting into all the rolled up rubber and grit that's thrown to the side of the track.
For many years, Formula Vee has been known as one of, if not the most competitive classes in SCCA road racing. Pepperdine has the lead. Bill Noble rides in the 2nd spot, and moving back up to 3rd is the pole sitter Ron Feeney. In the 4th spot, car number 19, Bill Pryor has moved up a notch. As they head for turn number 1, the battle again for the lead.
Car number 5 in the background there, John Hogdall. He's maintaining his good position. He's in 6th, he's now in 5th position.
Out of turn 1, the top 10 all running within about 2 seconds of one another. Not much of a gap when you still have some 15 laps to run. Up through the S's. Wayne Moore, who started 24th, has moved up to 17th position as he predicted, picking them off one at a time.
Well, at that rate, he's going to have to pick him up quicker than that if he wants to win this racer, because it's, as you can see, he's going to have a very tough job making his way past these front wheels when he gets up to the front group. He's broken away quite substantially from car number 72 there. Here is Tom Schweitz.
Moving toward the hood to the far south end of the speedway, still pretty much single file. You can see the rubber marking where the groove is here at Road Atlanta, and except for passing, they won't stray from that. Of course, you also see the red clay off to the right, where some drivers have gotten a little bit over-exuberant coming off of that corner.
I've never seen that clay quite so flat. It's not churned up at all. They've obviously used part of the rodeo, and it's all flat and packed out like a clay tunnel.
Up front, Bill Noble started 3rd, assumed the lead on the start. There's Pepperdine again, challenging for the lead at the end of the straightaway.
Hogdall dropped out of 5th place there. You see him tried to take advantage of the number 2 car as he tried to go around the outside. There we see Noble.
Don
right
Pepperdine leading Noble as they come up the hill, looking for the bridge and then get back towards the start-finish line underneath the Dotson Bridge. Long sweep, almost losing control was Pepperdine there.
Well, of course, with a little bit of the power they've got, they can go around that corner pretty high speed to them, pretty well flat out. And they use as much road as they can to reduce any tire scrub. So they do take a long, wide sweep if they can.
Noble looking for the lead, and Hogdall with the number 5 car has moved up into the 3rd position. He has gone by pole sitter Ron Feeney. So John Hogdall of Hamlet, Minnesota, car number 5 has moved from 6th all the way up to 3rd. Progress on Wayne Moore. He's picked off 4 more, David. He's up to the 13th spot.
Well, he's getting up there then. He's going to have his work cut out, as I say, but he's making good ground. That's 10 places in, what, 4 laps.
Pepperdine appears perhaps to have a different gear or perhaps a different type of horsepower in terms somehow. In his car, he's faster at the end of that straightaway. He's also been faster through the S's. That has Bill Noble to drive it at the early few laps.
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of changing of position here. Of course, all this changing of position at this point is rather superfluous. What happens on the last lap that really counts, but obviously these guys are practicing for that last lap bonsai effort, and it looks like it's going to go right down to the wire too. There we see in the front Don Pepperdine.
Noble in second. in the third spot, all in a tight draft. Feeney riding fourth, keeping close tabs on one another. And here is Noble moving to the outside of the racetrack. Same spot that Pepperdine got him 1 lap ago.
And Feeney trying to follow him back from fourth spot to go around the outside of Hogdall, which he's still attempting to do. He's done it. He's pulled it off. Hogdall's dropped back to fourth.
And moving up for the 5th position is Bill Pryor, who started in that spot along with Pryor comes car number 79. That will be Ford Smith of Roselle Park, New Jersey. Downhill, coming around to complete lap number 4, it is Noble in the lead. Pepperdine riding along in the 2nd position. Of pole sitter Ron Feeney is 3rd, and here is Pepperdine moving to the inside, and half the pack follows him as they head for turn 1.
Now you'd think the bunch of guys who are racing neck and neck as desperately as these guys are with a bunch of youngsters. And in fact, the average age in this 35-car field is that. 35 years old is the average age of these drivers. And they're driving like a bunch of school kids.
Coming up through the S's, up the hill, Don Pepperdine has gone back in front for the 2nd time. Noble is in the 2nd position in the black and yellow racer. That is car number 00. 3rd, the red machine belongs to Ron Feeney, 81. He started this race on the pole. Heading down to the hook in the south end of the speedway, single file. Not much passing here, David. Why in this part of the course?
Well, it's coming off turn 5 there. These guys are a little bit underpowered. They're all just about working themselves flat out. This is a slight uphill section to start with, and they really haven't got much power left to do any overtaking.
Moving up now to the 4th position, here you see Ford Smith, dark blue car, as off course is car number 53, Mike Gray. Greytown, Missouri, has found his way into the tire wall that you see at the outside of the racetrack. That's energy absorbing, and he is limping away, though, under his own power. So out of the race is Mike Gray, driving a Lynx. As the leaders come around this gentle right-hander, they'll be looking for the bridge once again. And the battle now for 2nd place. Noble is in front. Feeney is on your screen to the left of Pepperdine. Pepperdine hand in the air as he waves by car number 79, Ford Smith. So Pepperdine has dropped now to the 4th position as Smith continues to charge. He has moved up to 3rd.
I thought Pepperdine must have had some trouble there by lifting his arm like that. Apparently not. It was some sort of tactical maneuver, and there it goes again.
Ford Smith is on the charge, 79. From Feeney as they head out of turn number 1 up the hill, and on course 33, Charles Proctor has spun at turn number 12, trying to fire that machine and get it back into the fray. Coming up out of the S's, distinctive by the yellow nose, and the black machine is Bill Noble of Manhattan, Kansas. That car is classified as a Lynx. That's the manufacturer of the chassis, though all these cars have Volkswagen engines. Riding for 2nd, the pole sitter Ron Feeney, and 3rd now, Ford Smith of Roselle Park, New Jersey, waited for 3 laps to make his move, but he has come up from the 7th position to 3rd within the last 2 laps.
And that front 8 bunch, in fact the front 7, making a big break for it here, leading the car in 8th place on its own. And everybody else starting to trail away a bit. If they're going to stay in this hunt, they better reduce that gap and stay in there. Otherwise, they just won't have a chance towards the end of this race. And look at that close race. Come out of that turn number 7, far into the back straightaway.
9 cars are in that lead draft. As you see the ambulance on the course, taking the driver of car number 53, Mike Gray, back for a checkup at the infield care center. Unlike in stock car racing, the yellow flag, when it comes out, only waves at 1 corner, and the race goes on all the rest of the way around this 2.5-mile road course.
Well, that looked like some pretty doubtful passing there, though. There were people still passing each other as they passed the ambulance, and one of those cars had its wheels on the grass, which I don't think is all that smart a thing to do.
You see 7 cars now, all in line coming back to the start-finish line to complete lap number 6, and at the head of the pack is Bill Noble, but he has lots of close company. As they go to turn 1, the pole sitter, Ron Feeney. The red number 81 machine lurks to the lead and outbreaks Noble into the turn and takes it back once again.
Well, this is a real cut and thrust affair. Here we see the crest of the hill at turn 3 as they swing through that sharp right-hander and accelerate all the way downhill down this long left-hander, which again swings right, and now they're dropping away quite a hill down here.
Wayne Moore, our defending national champion, is up to the 12th spot. The last time by could not improve that position.
Well, unfortunately, the group he's in now is separated. There's 7th place going by. And you see quite a long gap behind him. if he gets into the front of the tail group, he's going to have an awful job to make that gap on his own with no draft.
An 8-car breakaway. Coming into your screen fourth in that second group of cars is the machine of Wayne Moore, number 17, the defending national champion, Atlanta native. Back up to the front of the pack is going into the hook, taking the lead. There is Ron Feeney hanging on. And the Noble had a shot at him. A little off-course excursion there. Will cost a little bit of time on John Vanderkar of Amherst, New Hampshire.
There we see Wayne Moore doing some drafting.
And like you said, picking them off one at a time.
Yeah.
Moore looks like he'll get another spot here in the race for 11th position.
Wayne Moore's judgment should be pretty good at this drafting.
But the race now comes back up front. Noble the leader, but 5, the yellow machine. John Ogdal just gets aced out in the third spot. They are incredibly close as they now come back down the hill and around to complete lap number 7.
It's a very tricky spot too under that bridge because the road's on the crest of a hill and the cars go light as they break into that corner. And the vision's bad. It's a blind corner. You're under the bridge. And there's a lot of jostling for position going on.
Pepperdine, who had his hand in the air a moment ago, waving someone on to pass, has apparently regained a bit of ground. He is in the third spot, and across the stripe, Wayne Moore completes this lap up in the 9th position. So he is just at the head of the second pack of cars. There is Moore just moving out of the top of your screen as that second pack comes by to give you an idea of the separation. Here are the front 8 running in one draft, and there comes the second pack, led by the defending national champion.
Well, this is the thing. Can he pull up that gap now? There he is, as you say, heading that group. He pulled up 4 places since we last saw them go around that corner. But he's now got that whole gap to try and pull up on his own, which is going to be tough, unless he can drag somebody else along to help him draft.
Nevertheless, it's been an incredible drive from 24th up to 9th position thus far. Back to the front of the field, Bill Noble in 00 leads this Formula Vee National Championship race. Ron Feeney is in the second position. Don Pepperdine rides third. All 3 of those cars started in the front 3, though not in those positions. This is Pepperdine moving to the inside, and we are 3 abreast. Down a straightaway, 3 wide for the lead, and look at everybody shuffle behind them as they fight for those 4th, 5th, and 6th positions.
Well, everybody's struggling there to get the best draft they can. A bit of a dodgy maneuver there from number 79, Ford Smith. A lot of jostling going on here. 13, Don Pepperdine. And there was somebody got pretty close to the edge of the road there on the apex.
All of this side-by-side racing will be of benefit. Wayne Moore in the back of the field. If he still has the draft off of the trailing cars, he'll be able to pick up some precious time on the front of the field.
Yes, of course, the more they jostle amongst themselves, the slower they will go.
And Moore is indeed gaining time. The separation has driven between the first and second packs. Front 8 cars still running in tight formation up the hill. There's the 9th place machine. That's Wayne Moore. He is closing the ground. He is 6 seconds behind the leader as they have completed 8 of 18 scheduled laps, 10 to go as they head for the S's and the climb up the hill, which utilizes every single one of the 50 to 60 horsepower in these angry overshoes, the Formula Vee division.
And we have a new leader. I think it's Blair DuPont in car number 18.
I believe that would be Pepperdine in 13. At the head of the field, DuPont started way back towards the tail end of the field.
Well, with 8 and a bit laps gone,
Pepperdine is at the head of the field once again. Ron Feeney is second. In third is Ford Smith, who qualified in the 4th spot, dropped back a bit on the opening lap and is steadily charged back to run among those front 5 cars. They have really been jostling back and forth for the lead. Moving to the inside is Feeney. Midway down that straightaway, he has retaken the lead. Ron Feeney of Douglasville, Pennsylvania, who had the pole by the slimmest of margins, 16/100ths of a second over Don Pepperdine. Bill Noble's time was identical to Pepperdine's, but Noble started in the 3rd spot.
well, you can see why the times are so close with the way they're racing. They're snake running into those cross hatches up there. They don't want to run over those in these little cars because they're pretty violent bumps.
That's the backside of a pit board used to show the driver his position and his lap time.
Just their way into turn 1 again.
Fierce infighting among those top positions. The Formula Vee class has engines that are very strictly controlled as far as what limited modifications can be made. So all of these cars are probably within 1 or 2 horsepower of one another, and that helps keep the racing exceptionally close.
They also have to use a Volkswagen transmission and rear suspension unit, so they're fairly stock little cars under those racing chassis there.
Don Pepperdine, Monterey, California driver, at the head of the field, heading up towards the hook. And there is that swarm behind him. 8-car lead draft. And there is ninth spot, gaining ground. Wayne Moore has chopped the margin from the leaders from 9 down to 5.5 seconds. Mainly by benefit of the leaders jostling for position, Moore has been able to keep those cars behind him in a tight draft.
Well, that slowed them up, and you also notice he's dragged a couple of other guys along with him, which is giving him the advantage of their draft and vice versa. So that helps them to keep going at good speed and keep and cut this gap down. If they don't do too much jostling amongst themselves, they'll catch up with the speed.
Don Pepperdine continues to lead, moving to the left, right to the edge of the racetrack. That will be Ron Feeney in 81, who is looking for second spot, and squeezing his way to the front is Bill Pryor in car number 19 out of Carmel Valley, California. Pryor becomes the fourth driver to lead, and John Hogdell almost gets off the racetrack in car number 5. Under the bridge, Bill Pryor is the new leader, and moving up into second is Bill Noble in 00. The black car with the yellow nose. John Hogdell, number 5, has gone to third, and Feeney and Pepperdine have gone back to 4th and 5th position.
And Noble taking away the lead again.
Bill Noble back up front as things continue to change quickly. Wayne Moore has chopped another second.
Whoa, and there's somebody spun. That's car number 35.
John Vanderkar of Amherst, New Hampshire, driving in Caldwell, a Vanderkar Racing entry off the course. As fires got back underway, Bill Noble is back up front. The Manhattan, Kansas driver has not been the road Atlanta so far this season.
Wayne Moore has broken away from his opposition and is now very close to the back of this 8-car lead bunch.
An incredible job in a class that is this close to do such a job of overtaking and climbing up through the field. 24th starting position, David, his odds would have had to have been 100-1 to catch these leaders.
Yeah, he hasn't had a very good year this year, Wayne. As he told us earlier, he's had a lot of troubles. He's been out of a lot of races. He's been on the pole 6 times, but he hasn't had many wins. He's just got enough points. Look at that draft. Now that is close.
Tight running as Noble is the leader, and Bill Pryor, the California driver, right on his tail. And they go 3 wide again down the back straightaway, looking for the lead. Hogdell on the inside of the racetrack, the line that he has favored so far, and he's got the lead. John Hogdell, car number 5, the Ham Lake, Minnesota driver. Hogdell is a sod farmer. Maybe he knows a little about racing out in the dirt there. Here comes Feeney. He gets himself cut off at the turn as they're heading toward the bridge and downhill back towards start finish.
Well, if he's a sod farmer, that's probably why he likes running over the sod. There is Wayne Moore, right with the group now.
Almost unbelievably, Wayne Moore has caught the lead draft of 8 cars. That is phenomenal. With these cars being so evenly matched, he has climbed up to the field and now runs only 2.5 seconds behind the leader in what has become a 9-car draft.
Well, now he's going to have to really keep his head and keep his wits about him as he tries to work his way up through the group, obviously arriving at the head of that group in 7 laps time to try and win this race.
He is in fast company right now. One slower car being lapped, staying well out of the way as well he should, because these little cars are flying. Moore in 9th spot, tail end of the lead draft. As they head towards the hook, single file, having a look back in the field. As we await the leader coming out of the hook, south end of the race course. It is John Hogdell once again. Hogdell in car number 5 has led this last lap. Bill Pryor is in the 2nd spot. We're in lap 12. In 3rd is Bill Noble. There's the defending national champ, Wayne Moore, who came up from 24th to 9th position.
Wayne, of course, is from Atlanta, so he may get a bit of practice out here at Road Atlanta, but he's doing a very good job at the moment. As those cars spread down that straight, 2, 3, 4 abreast, down into the bottom of this dip. Absolutely flat out, these cars, see there. Flat out all the way up this hill. And probably not very hard braking.
And Moore has moved up, David. I believe he's in the 6th position as they'll come to the start-finish line. The leader is Bill Noble. Coming around, turn number 12. And Moore has indeed picked up a couple of spots. There he works the draft to the left of your screen, coming in at turn number 1. To the extreme left, cutting his way inside of turn 1. Pepperdine will have the lead. But Wayne Moore has gone to 4th position. I'm impressed and surprised.
I'm very surprised. I I just didn't think he'd be able to do it. When he got left out on the limb of that trailing group, I didn't think he'd be able to make up that ground. But he's done a fantastic job. And his car must be running very, very well indeed.
Well, you heard Wayne Moore's game plan. He qualified well back, only getting one lap of qualifying in, but he has forward to the front. He's run by the pole sitter. And moving front, Ron Feeney, the pole sitter, car number 81. Something has gone adrift on pit road.
Well, he did say to them, well, Wayne Moore did say to them before the race, that we'd get up into that lead bunch and then they better watch out. And now they're really watching out now.
Pepperdine, the leader. And the 0-0 of Bill Noble in second, and look who's riding third. Defending national champ Wayne Moore in the fourth spot is Bill Fryer, the blue car number 19.
Fifth is John Hogdell, who has led this race, been fifth, been 10th. And having another go on the inside, and that start on the inside, which we like so much.
Bill Noble gets the lead back from Don Pepperdine. Heading up towards one turn that will lead to the bridge. And the infighting in third, fourth, fifth spot is extremely tight. Under the bridge. Coming downhill back towards the start-finish line. Noble goes over the bump strip. Single file. Back to the stripe, but the charge will fan out again as they head for turn number one. Single file. Watch for the break. There it goes, and it's Moore. Off to the left side, gunning for second spot against Don Pepperdine. Has the inside line and takes second position away. From 24th to second spot in one of the most competitive classes in road racing in 13 laps. Wayne Moore has just been announced as setting an official lap record for the Formula Vee class. This is his home racetrack. He has run 6 times in national races this year. He has had the pole for all 6 of those events, but he's finished only one. It was right here at Road Atlanta, and he won it back in June.
Well, no doubt he's hoping for a replay of that race. If he can win this, it'll be a 2-time national champion, which in this class of racing is very, very difficult to do. It's so competitive.
Moore's had 2 flat tires this season among those 6 races. He broke a flywheel once, he broke a steering box, and he said going into this race he's thinking he's used up all of his bad luck this season. Well, that remains to be seen with 13 laps completed. When we come by this time, there will be 4 laps to go. David, is it too early to begin setting up your last lap strategy?
It is really. Last lap strategy in these cars with this sort of power really needs to be done about 2/3 of the way around the last lap. The crucial point for these guys is going to be that turn under the bridge. And there we see Wayne Moore taking the lead in this race for the first time.
Moore is up front, and the jostling is all behind him. Noble, Hogdell, and Pepperdine are fighting it out now for second spot. Downhill into the start-finish line, and Noble, or rather Moore, who has come from 24th, now enjoys the biggest lead of the afternoon, as these cars have just run nose to tail all through this race. Moving to the inside, Pepperdine tries to climb back up into the second spot, takes it away from Hogdell.
Well, of course, if Wayne Moore has pulled up from 24th spot like he did, he traversed that gap between the first and the second main groups all on his own. There's every possibility that his car and himself are so superior that they could just drive. There is a possibility he could just drive away. It's unlikely, but it could happen.
The last driver to win back-to-back national championships in this division, Bill Campbell, back in 1966 and 1967. Since that time, no one has competed and won, or rather, Mike Franchiser won 2 championships, but they came in 75 and 77, a year apart. Lead cars down on the hook at the south end of the speedway. Wayne Moore leads Bill Noble, coming into this long 5,000-foot ribbon of asphalt that is the back straightaway here at Road Atlanta. A 10-turn race course, 8 to the right, 2 to the left. 5 of them make up this long backstretch, with the drivers treat as a straightaway. Pepperdine moves to the inside, or rather outside, takes Hogdell with him. Still in the straightaway, trying to move past Wayne Moore with the advantage of the draft, but they split and go 3 wide. Breaking the draft, it is Noble going to the front of the field once again. And Wayne Moore, the leader, drops back to 4th.
Well, that's what can happen to you. The thing to watch, of course, is that that does not happen on the last lap. Unless, of course, you Bill Noble, and that's exactly what happens.
15 complete, 3 laps to go. One of the most hotly contested road racing classes. Formula Vee here at Road Atlanta to the side, the national driving champion. Noble takes a wide line in turn number 1. with Don Pepperdine, the California driver. In second, John Hogdell, that yellow car from Minnesota, rides third. And fourth, defending national champion in car number 17, the purple machine, that is Wayne Moore from here in Atlanta.
Well, now, one thing that will be going on now is, of course, their pit signs will be showing them mainly how many laps to go. Positions won't matter. They can see where they are. Times don't matter. It doesn't matter what time they're doing. But laps to go is what is absolutely crucial. So they'll be getting the countdown now with 3 laps to go. They'll be thinking about it, but there's not much they can do about it.
And the battle has begun to develop. The front 4 have broken away from what was a 7-car draft. Now there are 4 contesting for the lead.
In that back 3 cars, actually, is Don Courtney, who's a previous national champion. I thought he might be a bit of a sleeper in this race, but unfortunately things haven't worked. There he is in the red car at the back of the group. Things don't seem to have worked out quite as well as they might have done.
For the past 3 laps, these 4 cars have been leading back and forth. Bill Noble in 00. At the front of the field, running second, Don Pepperdine. That blue number 13 machine, John Hogdell, car number 5. Yellow machine, yellow helmeted driver. Now move back to the inside, and it'll be 2 by 2. Coming around this right-hand sweeper. Noble to your right, and on the left of the screen is John Hogdell, and look at how tight the drafting is. The infighting back and forth. Wayne Moore goes to the left side of the lead. Hogdell cutting the berm off onto the pit road and cutting back to turn number 12. It is Noble again, and the order goes back to single file unchanged. Noble leading Pepperdine, who works to the inside, and now things begin to get serious. With only 2 laps to go, Don Pepperdine goes to the inside and takes the lead from Bill Noble at turn number 1. John Hogdell is in the 3rd position, and Wayne Moore, who led and opened up about a 5-car advantage, has dropped to the 4th position.
And that trailing 3 cars has caught up with them again. All that last lap shenanigans we just saw definitely slowed our front group up, allowing the original 3 guys to regroup with them. So maybe this is going to turn back into another 7-car draft on the last lap, and we could see a surprise even here.
Even here at Road Atlanta with these 10 tight, 11, 12 tight turns. Just like super speedway racing, if you break the draft and race for the lead, everybody else is going to come catching up through the field.
That's right. It just can't be great, especially in these low-powered cars. It just can't be done.
7 cars in the lead draft, and any one of them has a strong shot to win the national Formula Vee driving title. Just moments from now, 16 laps complete. Coming around and complete, the 17th is your leader, Don Pepperdine. The blue, trimmed with red and white machine. There is Wayne Moore from Atlanta. He is in the 4th position on his home racetrack where he won the national title a year ago. Noble works to the outside and retakes the lead. There goes Moore to the outside. The shuffling begins in earnest now with just a little over a lap to go.
And 5th, right behind Moore, is Moore actually taking it. Oh, they nudged wheels there as they went to that dip. I'm sure that the right rear of Wayne Moore just nudged over the front.
They've got Moore the lead. 1 lap to go. As they come to the start-finish line, it is Wayne Moore, the defending champion, leading Bill Noble. The 13 of Don Pepperdine, the 5 of John Hogdell, heading for turn 1.
Well, now, of course, this is the big bone of contention. Is it best to lead on the last lap, or is it best to ride back? It's one of those things that Buddy Baker has problems thinking out, and of course a lot of these drivers have the same. You just can't rely on anything. The thing to do is just go for the checker here. If you're lying in 2nd place, it's sometimes better. But
of course, that's Moore. Off course, cutting his way across the S's, coming back up onto the speedway, and Noble has the lead. It is Noble and Pepperdine, Hogdell, and you can see that Moore lost a bit of time getting back up to speed. He is back to the 4th position. A costly off-course excursion for Wayne Moore as they come up through the S's.
Well, that's probably cost him the race. He's dropped back. I don't think he can make it up that far down.
Remember, he has a lot of power, and that 5,000-foot back straight is coming up.
But he did have a nasty cross-country excursion there. He may have deranged his suspension somewhat.
Coming onto the backstretch, it is Noble, Pepperdine, Hogdell, and Moore. The 5th place car appears to be car number 81, riding from the 5th spot. That is Ron Feeney. No, that would not be Feeney. We'll double-check that for you.
I think it's 61. I think it's Don Courtney.
That would be Courtney, the former national champion. In 5 of the last 6 years, the driver who has led under the bridge has not won this race. Hogdell on the left in yellow. Wayne Moore on the right reassumes the lead. Pepperdine is 3rd. There is Noble moving up into the 3rd spot. Courtney is 5th. Look at the battle here as they come around and head for the bridge. And heading for home, it is Wayne Moore stretching it out to a 6-car length advantage. Noble in 2nd. Hogdell 3rd. John Courtney will finish in the 4th spot.
Well, I must say, it makes you wonder about the power that Wayne Moore had under his back. Pull up from that far down and win the length of one straightaway and then lead by that far over the grid. It really makes you wonder how much power he had.
What about that runoff course through the S's? That is certainly an unorthodox way.
You can pull that off on the last lap and still win the race.
It appears to be what has happened in the Formula Vee finale here at Road Atlanta. And for the 2nd year in a row, Wayne Moore will be the national champion. His wife Doris just ecstatic down on the pit road as Wayne comes around to complete the cool-off lap. And you see now why these Formula Vee machines, with their small engines, underpowered compared to most of the 600 cars that are here at Road Atlanta, put on such close, competitive racing.
Number 61. Formula Vee racing at its very best. And as they did in the previous race, we'll be watching Moore come into pit lane to take the checkered flag.
Thumbs up from Wayne Moore, completing the cool-off lap. Had been on the pole 6 times this season, but had only one finish to show for it, and that was a victory here at Road Atlanta back in June. Various mechanical problems and off-course excursions kept him out of victory lane the rest of the season, and nearly did so today as he ran through the S's, running in 4th spot, but regained his composure and used what power he had available down the long back straightaway to win his 2nd consecutive national driving title in the Formula Vee division. Downhill and down the pit road where he'll receive the checkered flag and then embark on what every one of these drivers here dreams of, the victory lap.
As he comes down the front straightaway, here comes Moore to pick it up. As Noble pulls into his spot, Hoggle right behind him, your top 3 finishers. Moore stops, gets the checkered flag. They're talking to him. And he said if he could, I don't think he's going to be able to, I think he's going to have time. I'm not sure that he's going to get to be able to do that. He's getting his picture taken right now. Unless they stop him down at the pits, but that's what he was going to do. And promoting his product, Slick 50. Right now, we're going to move down to Slick Dick Coleman. We're down there in Winter Circle. Take it away, Dick. Okay, thank you very much, Ed Conway. Great call, great race. Here he comes. Here he comes.
Yes, go ahead. Coming out of the S's up through turn 3, this fierce battle for the lead, and the leader is off course. Wayne Moore has gone off through the weeds, off between turns 3 and 4, and shortcuts across the edges. Coming up. Okay. Wayne Moore will have the lead coming through the S's out of turn number 3. But you can see he's on the power too early, and his line carries him straight off the race course and off into the dirt, and fortunately, it led on to another part of the course where he could continue without losing too much ground and too much momentum.
I guess it does.
Yeah. Uh-oh, catch him.
Full season.
A real one? I mean, they're going to have one?
Big sponsor. Oh, Jay, this is it. Hi, Wayne, how are you? Hang on, just look at the camera there.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Wayne, you told us before the race started you were going to win it. Did you really think you could do it from 24th spot?
Well, I knew I could do it. It's a little tougher than I thought it was going to be. I thought I'd catch him a little bit sooner, but I guess I just didn't get it on until about the last 9 laps.
Well, you caught up dramatically. Then on the last lap, you made a terrible mistake, went off the road, which we have in living colour, and dropped right back. Did you really think you'd lost it then?
Well, you never know once you leave the road how you're going to get back. But once I got back there and survived getting back on the pavement okay, I figured I had a shot at him. I just had to get through 6 and 7 a little faster than they were, and I could catch them. And that's exactly what happened.
Well, it was a tremendous finish, Wayne, a tremendous race coming from 24th spot. Now, are you going to promise me you're not going to fly those jets like you drive those cars?
I certainly hope not. I won't be doing it very long if I do.
Thanks very much, Wayne. Two-time national champion here at Road Atlanta in Formula Super Vee. The first man to do that for over 10 years. Congratulations.
Formula Vee.
What the?
Super Vee.
You're right. You're a real celebrity. Right over here.
Jim, set up the Are we going to...
Let's have another look at that near disaster for Wayne Moore on the last lap. Coming round turn 3, gets it wide, gets onto that grass, and it's rough out there. Disappears behind the trees and miraculously comes back in 3rd spot, close on this side of the track. And even more amazingly, he makes that up, and he's right with the leaders as they come down the back straight for the last time, retakes the lead as they go down the dip. John Hogdall, car number 5, is right behind them as they come up to that last crucial break under the bridge. Hogdall makes a dive. Wayne Moore has the line and also has the race as Noble takes away 2nd spot from Hogdall right as they come up to the line, and Wayne Moore takes a checkered flag and the national championship for the 2nd time in his Formula Vee racing, and there's a very happy Doris Moore, his wife.